Hello, beautiful Tauruses. Thank you for being here with me for your Libra season reading. This is so exciting. What a great time. I love this time. I have a background in the arts, so I always associate Libra season with the appreciation of the arts. It is associated with so many other beautiful things as well, such as how to cultivate relationships and bring in the elements of balance and harmony to them. You know, it's really about how to live a beautiful life. What a great energy, great concept to have as part of our reality. So let's see what comes out for you during this time. This spread is set up with a center card representing really this idea of if all of our chakras were to combine into one singular chakra, we could call that our inner sun. It's really a source of energy that just becomes what we can pour out into our reality rather than taking things. So it's like this advanced sort of heart space energy. And then to make it a little bit more accessible, I took this idea of radiance and broke it into like the 12 houses of the Zodiac, the Western Zodiac. So this will be the first house, and it will go counterclockwise to the 12th house. So it'll be like Aries through Piscean energy, and we'll just kind of talk about what comes out here intuitively for you. I will read the little message that's on the center card. I'm not sure if it will relate. Yours is a little bit longer than it is most times, but no big deal. So we'll see if maybe it plays in or if it doesn't. So it says you are focusing purely on the negative, but there is also a positive side you are not seeing. Your mental attitude and thoughts can make things seem good or bad, beautiful or ugly. All is a matter of perception. What you think, you shall become. Be positive, for behind the perceived darkness, there is much love, light, and good fortune. That is a very comforting message, especially during these times. I know that collectively we may be starting to feel a little bit antsy right now and uncertain again. Things are rising in different media sources, and with everything that's been going on, maintaining a positive, stable perspective could be quite the challenge. And for Taurians, I mean, that can present itself as a huge threat, because you're all about this sort of foundational reality and, you know, having a nice, secure environment that is stable and productive, and you kind of understand the cycles that are associated with that and what's to become expected out of those cycles. So with things a little bit topsy-turvy, it can be very difficult to trust that what you're seeing is for the greater good. And it can take time, you know, as a factor to really see things come full circle and understand why things are appearing as they are and moving in certain ways, especially if they're outside of the norm. So I just did the Aries reading as I'm doing these in order, and the Aries was really about having a mastery over a calm presence. So if you have any Aries or people that you know have a lot of dominant placements of Aries in their charts, you may find them to actually be a very grounding energy for you, a very, you know, like a good friend, a good stabilizing energy, someone that you can go to that may help support you and provide some assurance for you. So I'm just going to kind of now look in here intuitively and see what's coming through. And, you know, I will say, like with Aries, they were showing a lot of activity, we'll say, in their environment, but yet they were really in this space that was like claiming my calm. So here I do see a very active environment. There's just movement. I'm getting actually a lot of, it's almost like making space. It's like clearing out things, kind of breaking up very dense areas, and now other energy can move in, and it's a very loving energy, a very soft energy, and an energy that feels restorative, that feels beautiful, actually, which would be, you know, like more of a Libra vibe to it for sure. A softer, feminine, receptive, flowing energy here. So maybe you're feeling this now in this season, or maybe you're kind of seeing both. So again, you know, as I encouraged you with the Aries energy, you know, look at the energy that comes through this season that actually exists despite what's going on in your environment. Claim the energy that's there, that allows for the voice of the Libra to come through as well. What feels beautiful? What feels you know, more receptive, empowered, as far as, you know, claiming harmony. Because whatever may be kind of breaking through, it's for something greater that wants to come through. It's an energy that's going to really clear out anything that feels too dense, too stagnant. And even, you know, like it's lost its luster, it's lost its life. So it seems like the change, at least the change that wants to come through, it feels like it could almost come through in a way that feels softer than we might associate change feeling. You know, I think we think of it as more abrasive and harsh, but this feels very graceful. So you do have the Aries card in the first house, which represents Aries. So this is a very strong energy. So this is about, this house is really about you understanding your own selfhood and how you put that out in the world, like the display of yourself. And I see that you may be coming out of a space that feels like you may have been dealing with a lot of anger. There may have been a lot of activity around this anger. There may have been, and bless you if you've been dealing with this, you may have been impacted by any of the fires that are happening, or any of the other water-related natural catastrophes, such as hurricanes and typhoons that may have been going on. And this just isn't in the States, but worldwide. Or you may be having this, you know, you may be affected by it because of our interconnectivity or just your consciousness to it. But I am getting that there's something here that is really rocking your foundation here. And for Taurians, I mean, again, this is like what you're all about, the stability of your earth, about your environment. So having this much catastrophe going on around you, even if you're not directly involved with it, it's, you cannot not notice this and feel like you are being uprooted by it. And yeah, it's really intense. And in seeing this, though, what I'm getting, though, is that instead of feeling broken down by this, you're feeling empowered by it. It's almost like you're so in touch with the energies of the earth that when you feel the earth rise, when there are like the magnitude of energy coming through these type of catastrophes, you feel that energy. Like that is an energy that is a powerful force. And I think you're beginning to identify that you have within you that same energy. You can have, you know, you can burn in a way that feels like an old growth tree in a forest, or you can feel what it's like to be, you know, within a cyclone type of energy. You know what that feels like. And there's something about that that's returning you to understanding about the power of the elements, and how they manifest. This really gets into, it makes me think of the Orishas, you know, and really dealing with the phenomenon, like the natural phenomenon, that almost become deities in themselves, you know, that they're natural forces. That's what I'm getting here. And you really identifying with that. And because it's in your identity position, I think you're like reclaiming that as sort of like, this is my position. I'm claiming my position here, you know, as I manifested into this reality, that I get the power of the elements, and I get the power of the behaviors of the elements. And that is, you know, that is me as it is outside of me, it's also within me. And there's something that's sort of coming through, like you're processing it even through your mental space. And I think you're going to take this energy and kind of communicate it out into the world, or you're going to let it flow through you some way, and you're going to, you know, kind of come into alignment with it, be one with it, and really know how to be of that energy, which is so funny, because I was telling Aries too, like there was, you know, kind of like that spiral, the Fibonacci sequence coming through in there, and that natural unwinding of life, the natural patterns of growth. And it's the same thing. So, I mean, wow, if we're doing this kind of collectively, like we're all getting back into what it is to be like a natural person, like our natural inherent powers. If we're realigning to those, I think that that is so magnificent. Okay, let's look here at your second house, which is really, you know, your house of value, Taurus house. So here we are seeing that you may be so such a dear, like it's darling. This card has such a sweet energy from it. You may be finding that you want to kind of understand, like reconnect to these energies, to the natural world in a way. And you may be thinking things like, you know, what is it like to be a dolphin? What is it like to be a creature of the sea? Like, what are they thinking? What are they feeling right now? So, you know, beyond just what it feels like to be water, to be in that energy, what are these other beings feeling about what's going on right now? And what can I learn from that? And, you know, do I need to dive deep with that? Is that something that I need to explore? You may also be feeling like there is something to rescue. You know, again, you may actually be directly involved in some of these catastrophes, and there may be a need to seek safety and really trust and feel like you are going to be protected. You may also be helping other people feel protected and rescuing them. And needing to just kind of join, just to be at one with the world, and regardless of what's going on, knowing how to be natural in it. Like, you know, this isn't about mastering your environment. This is about acting your part within the collective. And this feels kind of like a new energy for you. And, you know, when I look at this too, it seems like you're emerging out of something, like you're kind of birthing a new sense about how you are in the world. And I just feel like it feels really special to you. Like you feel honored and humbled and kind of silently joyful in a way as you're relearning how to be part of your environment. Now I'm going to look here at your house of communication, and I see, and it's also, I would say, about community too. I see that I guess what I would just want to say on the cup is that, like, where you're coming from is no different than where you're going. So, like, really, why worry about where you're trying to get if it's going to be no different than where you already are? It's just perspective makes it seem a little bit different. So I am getting kind of like calmness, like calm down, like just be at peace, at one with where you really are. There isn't really anywhere else that you need to go that's going to be any different than where you are now. Because it's about the feeling. It's not about where you're trying to get as far as a place or space. It's about how can you feel. And regardless of where you go, how can you still feel the way that you need to be feeling? Feeling like you're part of the planet, feeling you're at one with the planet, understanding the energies of the planet and how they are your same energies, and being attuned to that. Now, your fourth house of your home and family, your ancestry. I see that you may be feeling excessively kind of isolated, really alone. You may be even feeling a little bit confused, protective of your thoughts. And this may be a place where you're really doing a fair amount of nesting of the womb energy, of like you just want to kind of sink into the void and you don't really know what's going to come of it, but you know that you need to just allow yourself to be in that reality where there are no thoughts, there are no emotions to feel, there's nothing, just getting to zero. And maybe if you're doing something like this, in a home space, it's helping this sort of rebirthing process that you may be actualizing in your environment through your behaviors. It doesn't feel like overly worrisome or anything. It just feels that kind of like you're taking a break, not only from the world itself, but from who you are, from what you've known of yourself, from your identity. And, I definitely am getting that theme. And that, you may be using your downtime at home to allow yourself to pretty much deprogram so that you can feel again and feel on an energetic level. Okay, so I'm going to look now at your fifth house of really how you assert your authority in your environment, your respect, that you get from your environment. And I get an energy that feels different than I feel like maybe you have been in before. It feels a little bit uncharacteristic of you. And you may not be 100% comfortable in it. It's almost like you're trying to learn, if you were an actor, you're trying to learn your lines, you're trying to learn your part. But I see that you're not overly intimidated by it, but you're just sort of new at something. You're new at about being this new version of you, perhaps. And I feel like you're really sort of loving it, because not only are you, especially as a Taurus, not only are you saying like, wow, I really get like Earth, like I've identified with Earth so much and my natural environment, but I'm opening now to the cosmos as well. Like it's part of me too. Like I don't want to be cut off from that. Like I want to understand how much I belong to the celestial realm as much as I belong to the Earth. I am a child of both of these realities, and I can be at peace with both of them. And in a way, you're kind of like waving an olive branch at something. You're like, yes, there's peace, and we will have peace here as well. But you seem to be understanding that there's something like that is driven by the stars, that's guided by the stars, that has a certain amount of authority, that if you understand what's going on there, you will understand how to act here. And the structure, the domain, the authority that you can exert here in this realm. Now I'm going to look here at your 6th house of daily routine and your health. And I see you happy, and I see you kind of desiring to do your best, to be in your best energy, which is really confirming that you're nourishing yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you are understanding how to be the leader of the kind of the forest family, you know, like the father of the forest. There's that energy assisting you, and it seems to be creating a lot of stability for you. And yet there is it's kind of like a reverse of maybe more of the westernized perspective of the energies through different associations with different environments. Like you're getting more of a feminine energy from the celestial part of your connection, and from the earth more of this masculine energy that I feel like you're working with and you're kind of combining as part of this self that you are presenting. Now in your house, your 7th house of relationships and harmony and beauty, I see a strong Taurian energy that is a little bit more frenetic now. I'm getting more of a like things are a little bit more shook up. Like it's not the wavelengths aren't as like calm and smooth and long. The energy is, there's more peaks and lows, and it's more happening. It's more of a Aquarian vibe I'm feeling here. So I would associate that with like kind of new thought and even like a little bit of the rebel energy, which I am definitely feeling here. But the rebellion may be towards your own self, towards your own complacency, if you've had any, and really regaining this wildness and again, like wanting to know what it is to be of the energies of what surrounds you, wanting to be able to identify what it is to be, you know, what it feels like to be a tree, what it feels like to be a river, what it feels like to be the wind. And there's sort of like, oh, I got it, like I get this energy, like how clever, like this is a huge resource, you know. And Taurians to me are all about resources. Like in a way you're saying like, wow, we've been harvesting all of this like material energy, but really the energy that we can be harvesting is energy, you know, itself. Like, there is an incredible amount of different types of energy that you have access to if you just decide to be part of them, to align with them. Now I'm going to look here at your 8th house, which is the house that goes a little bit deeper. It could be mysteries and secrets associated with this, things that could be kind of hidden. And I am seeing again, it goes to this vibe I'm getting here, that the male aspect of the earth in a way that you've never felt before, the leadership that comes through any of the male energies that you can identify that are part of this earth consciousness. And I see that this is becoming something that may have been, you know, like you weren't really getting that before, and that you're kind of identifying with, and you're kind of like bringing it back to life in a way. Like it feels like it was really dismissed in a way, almost like how, you know, the feminine has felt so dismissed, just sort of like in the 3D realm. And there's something about this male energy that's been kind of like pushed aside, and, you know, we associate Mother Earth with Gaia, and, you know, the mother and being pregnant and all the feminine energies. And you're like, wait a minute, there's all kinds of male energy here too that we've been not, you know, getting, like we don't know how to utilize it. And so I think you're finding an incredible amount of just power and release and, you know, enlightenment in a way that you just didn't even expect. It's just like coming to the surface during this time for you, and it's going to change you. it's really going to put you in an understanding that you've never had before. So looking now at your 9th house, things that could be foreign, what feels higher minded, just things that are outside of your comfort zone too. I am getting here an energy that feels, it's building on this energy of, you know, the powerful feminine energy, but with the masculine, you know, and in a way that's not distorted. It's really natural. It's really like a perfect balance, which is, you know, Libra season, like this perfect balance of the male and the female as it's contained in the earth itself. And it's sort of like you get, like, when that comes together, the power of creativity that can come through, like what can be birthed by putting those two things together, can create a whole new world. And you're beginning to understand that how, like, you have to harness these two energies, you have to balance and work with these two energies, because this is what creates reality. And you may be looking to what seems like a threat to that, and we have, you know, in these times, things that are quite threatening to that. We're never going to probably get away from what could be like the predator in our environment, and what could build fear within us. But I think that you're looking at that in a way where you're not dismissing it, you're acknowledging it. You're acknowledging that there are potential threats, but you're also seeing that it's not going to consume everything at once. and, you know, like everything implodes and the whole world falls apart, that yes, there are threats, things are gonna strike certain things, and this has been natural, this has been going on forever. But there's sort of like, you're not going to let that completely distract you from understanding how to harvest good energy and build our world and create with that, and let the world be in a state of abundance through that, and, you know, remain blessed by these sort of more celestial realms that are also active. Like, I feel like you're gaining a higher perspective as well, which is, you know, through this, seems really beautiful. But yeah, I do see you kind of, you know, contemplating maybe, you know, like the cities, and then thinking about maybe more rural regions, what can be really brought back to life there, and, you know, what is potentially a threat there, and how you're interconnected to all that. And these are issues of our times right now, so I'm not surprised to see that coming through. I am now looking at your 10th house of what could be your legacy, the pinnacle of a career, but of really what you're giving on a societal level. And you know, we're definitely getting, you know, clearly here sort of like this balancing act, which, you know, during Libra season, you may be really feeling. I mean, that would be an appropriate energy. And I also feel like you're kind of looking at, well, what's everything being built upon? Like, how stable it really is, everything. And, you know, what is this? You know, what planet am I even on? Like, what do I even know about where I'm at and the order of things? And, you know, are there other entities, guides, and angels and whatnot helping decide this? And so you may be, you know, looking at structures and really the natural world itself, and just everything. You know, you may kind of be feeling like a little bit even confounded here. But yet, I get this sort of like, you want to keep it simple. Like, you want to understand that if you really do break everything down, that in a way, what remains is simple and playful and joyful and innocent. And that maybe beyond like everything that you see, you need to understand that these virtues are what's really building everything, you know, more so than, you know, the materiality, the physical resources that we can harvest. Yeah, I just really feel like you're having a lot of insight during this time, Taurus. Okay, let's look here at your 11th house, humanitarian things, your own selfhood in relation to the collective, which, you know, this is a perfect card of the collective here. Yeah, I'm kind of getting like, you're like, yep, let's look at this. Like, how have we built the collective? What other type of structure can we build on? Can we allow for more mystery? Can we allow for something that's been maybe there all the time, that we, you know, like in plain sight, but it's hidden because it's so plain, you know, a deeper truth that underlies the effect of it. You know, like we're seeing the symptoms, but we're not really seeing the true inner truth. And I just feel like you're honing in on that, and you're really getting it, and you're getting it in a way that isn't just about you getting it for your personal life. It's like you really look at things as the collective whole. Like when you think about the planet, you think about the whole of it and the whole of humanity. And what a great thing to have that type of consciousness and vision, because it's like you're really getting like the whole system there. Now, in your final house, your 12th house, this is the Piscean energy. This is really the great beyond, the cosmic consciousness, the super consciousness, the transcendent energies, as well as anything that can kind of be the lower octave of that too. You know, self-deceit, and you know, everything that could kind of be polarized to its higher levels. And I think, you know, instinctively what I'm getting off of here is sort of what I was talking about, this coming together, like you're understanding, yes, the power of that feminine energy, but hello, it doesn't stand alone. It's always in partnership, divine partnership with the masculine. They coexist, and they are necessary to one another. And it's not about power, but there's such ecstasy when they come together. There's such, it's like even transcendent of devotion. There's just a naturalness of like just pure love, pure elation, just pure being that is just so astounding. Just feeling what it is to be alive and aware and able to feel at the level and into the dimensions, into these energetic realms. Just having that awareness, it's like you're like in rapture in a way over it, but not in a way that is so, not like in a way that feels like ecstasy, but that just feels so raw and real. It's like if you were to take Taurian energy and merge it with Pisces energy, this is like what you got, and it feels really good. I like that. So I hope this served you, and it was a pleasure to do it for you. Thank you for sharing it with me. Please feel free. I have lots of different types of readings I do, so feel free to check out any of my other playlists if you want to engage further. Take care during Libra season. Stay wonderfully blessed, as we all are, and sending you tons and tons of love. Yes. Peace to you all.